Wow, this is Babazir here once again on Windows 95, and today I'm proud to say that what you're looking at here is world's first Master Distiller build. That's right, if you think that others existed before this, you're probably right, but I don't see them being shown off anywhere, do you? Since I spent my entire life savings on it, I am once again using the Squire Shield. I mean, if you bought a 1981 DeLorean, would you drive anything else? I don't think so. Needless to say, the next 17 builds will be revolving around the Squire, and here's why. Let me tell you a story. Picture it, Sicily, 1922. The Bitterdreams, The Scepter of Shadows novel just came out. Leery of it, and not believing all the hype, a beautiful young peasant boy with luxurious hair, whom everyone adored.
Oh yeah, Papa Zero? Everyone adored him?
Shut up, Billy. I work alone. As I was saying, he waited a whole week before purchasing the novel. Well, not so much purchasing it, but more so trading 1.5 geese for a copy of the book. What finally swayed him to get it was a raving review that was carved into a wooden post in front of the bookstore, left by a well-known critic, Benadryl Cumberbun. With the book in hand, he skipped with joy down the street, all the way to his tiny hut. When he finally sat down in front of the hearth and warmth of the fire splashed across his face, he began his journey down the magic world. In that story, there was a young heroine named Yasmin Bleeth who was battling Zaina, a completely fictional character. But before the young boy could read the final chapter and discover the truest of endings, his father came home furious, confronting him about how he has traded 1.5 geesai for a silly book. How dare he sell Rupert and half of Franklin?
What happened to the other half of Franklin?
Shut up, Bill. I said I work alone. The youngster, alarmed, tried to reason with his old man, even telling him of the sensational review he read, pointing out things like Jack and the Beanstalk. What if this was a magical book? Unfazed, the father snatched the book right out of the boy's hand and threw it out the window, echoing Jack's mother's action with the magic beans.
Fine, let's see it grow,
Were the last words the young man heard as the book flew over his head, tussling his luxurious locks. Flabbergasted, the tyke's eyes widened with disbelief. He didn't mean for his father to take the magic bean story so literally. Nevertheless, the boy learned a valuable lesson that day.
Papa Z, what's the point of the story? You're dragging it on again.
What's the moral of the story, you ask? That peasant boy was me, and the moral of the story is, don't do any wood carving in the 1922s with a very tiny knife whilst not wearing the facebreaker gloves. For you see, Bandicoot Coral Reef got tetanus shortly after carving that review.
What? Also, that's a different name.
And moving on to the build. As you may have guessed, I am using the Bitterdream Scepter. I saw one that had slower projectiles crucible node and had to have it. I also wanted to see if I could spell Papa Zero with the 12 letters on the action bar, and the closest spelling I got was Beetlejuice Crumple Patch. Furthermore, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, I just made a non-poison Pathfinder using a beside jewels and gear. And I could have done so again, but that would have been easier and more efficient route to go.
Say what?
Let it be known, I will cover this later in the gear section, but yes, if I had gone that avenue, it would certainly be more damage. Heat Shiver Helm would likewise add more damage. But I wanted to focus on defenses in this build. Personally, if I ever get the option to use 2 Schaefer's Hammers or 2 Storm Shields, I would dual wield the crap out of them Stormies. For my intents and purposes, I had more than enough damage to do everything I wanted, as you saw in the clips already. Mad bosses are frozen anyways, and I don't boss at all, ever. So I didn't see the point of having double or triple damage. Now, let's talk about the Master Distiller Ascendancy node. I have Bismuth Flask and a Diamond Flask in my belt, so I get 20% pen and 150% increased crit, respectively. Very nice. I sincerely wanted to see if this node could be used in a build, and with some concessions, it can. The nice thing I learned is that if you use Multi-Strike or Spell Echo, those support gems help tremendously, because instead of removing 9 or 6 charges, it only removes 3. Effect, use it as you wish. The last tricky thing was to get the mana cost to be just right, without any skill cost reduction. A 12 link of this magnitude sets you back 248 mana per cast. So I have some jewels, a flask, and ringcraft to bring it down to 19. I could have gotten it to 0, but then the inspiration support would be wasted. That of course can be combated with putting inspiration linked to, let's say, Flame Dash or other skills, but I didn't need to go that route, for I had no mana troubles. If you play this build and plan on bossin', I'd highly suggest the Trader Keystone from Brutal Restraint Jewel. Alright, let's go over the gear. This took me way longer than it should have. Worth it.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Alright, here's the Bitterdream Butte with slow proj and even has the chill effect increasage. Nice. The same old Squire you will see again and again. The helm you saw me use in the first 2 maps with Fizz taken as Ellie. I also crafted myself a similar one with EK that fires in circle that you saw in the latter half of the video. I also substituted my Hypnotic Gaia ring with the Brimstone Coil one because I needed the Chaos Res when I used the Tempest Halo helm. My other ring is also self-crafted. Main thing on here is the life gained on hit with spells, which I use in conjunction with Watcher's Eye. So total, I have 38 life gained on hit, and with my cast when damage setup, it's very powerful as a defensive mechanic. The amulet I use is a very nice talisman I got like 2 months ago for dirt cheap. I anointed it with crystal skin and rip. I have 99% elemental ailment avoidance. So close, yet so far away. The armor I use gives me some more flask charges, Fizz taken as Ellie, elemental avoidance, and it's just an overall decent armor. I put my utility spells in here, Tornado and Hydrosphere to cursing enemies with Assassin Mark and Culling Strike. The Cold Pen is just an additional anecdotal damage increase. My EK has about 92% physical converted to cold, so I'm missing 8%. TT Sad Panda. My beautiful cloth belt that helps me with flask charges, and another self-crafted item, boots with Ellie avoidance. I do have the flask mastery that gives me a chance to get a charge on crit, and I also have Lethal Pride Jewel, which gives me additional 15% physical damage taken as fire. So overall, I have about 68% Fizz taken as Ellie. That's why I have no armor or evasion or endurance charges. My flasks are as follows. Overall, fairly tanky build that does the job it was intended for. Now on to alternative setups. It's been a while since I did one of these. As mentioned before, if you want to go for higher damage, then get yourself the Abyssite Jewel gear and some good jewels that give you crit, life, cold, and physical damage to spells. Maybe even a Heath Shiver, yeah? Brutal Restraint with Balbala gives you the Trader Keystone, and you can even find them with Flask Duration, I believe. If you still have trouble sustaining flasks, you could get a Watcher's Eye like this and run level 1 Precision. Earlier today on PoE Trade, I saw a Watcher's Eye with both life gained on hit and flash charge mod for 2 divines. Not bad. And last but not least, you could try a different variation. Maybe a different spell or different setup altogether. Perhaps even use Pledge of Hands. Since it has greater spell echo, slap regular spell echo, and then your spells will repeat 5 times at the cost of only 3 charges. Experiment. Let me know what you came up with. I would love to know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with another beautiful build. So I have some jewels, a flask, and a ring, ring. I can't say ring.